Sure, glad to have you. Sure, when you hear the mayor speak that way, that's really how mayors in every city should be responding when it comes to officers who do wrong on the police force.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm really excited to hear this brother talk this way. And so I've got some suggestions for him and any other like-minded mayor about what they can do about these rogue miscreants that are on their departments.
You know, and again, I mean, for hear him to say, no, we turn over the evidence. I mean, oftentimes, look what happened when Romney Nang was mayor of Chicago, when they held onto that tape of the shooting death of Raquan McDonald. Too often, cities are protecting police officers as opposed to being proactive and saying, no, we want them off our force.
Right. And so, it's great that they're pulling these officers off the force. It's great that indictments are forthcoming. But the question that I have, Roland, is that, nobody's talking about this but me. So I'm going to just go ahead and say it yet again. What about all the folks that are sitting in jail right now who were put there by these rogue, compromised police officers? Because what I know to be true, whenever an officer puts hands on you, whenever they arrest you for something, they have generally manufactured the probable cause for that arrest. They've lied to substantiate the unnecessary use of force. And so we know now on the back end that all of these officers are compromised, much like the ones on the Memphis Police Department who have now been added to what they call the Giglio list. Whenever an officer lies in pursuit of arresting someone and convicting them, everything that they've touched, every arrest report, every police encounter, every criminal case should be reviewed and probably dismissed by the prosecutor. So I hope the mayor over there will get on the prosecutor, the DA, and have a conversation about that.
Sure, I fundamentally believe that the social justice action of the last decade is what has led to this different focus when it comes to police investigations, when it comes to arrests, when it comes to indictments. Because folks have made clear they're not going to allow that. In fact, everybody needs to remember the former DA of Cuyahoga County, who oversaw the case of Tamir Rice, was voted out of office because of that particular case as well. And so to have this new DA be involved in this is not a surprise because of that particular case and so many others.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great first start, and I appreciate everything that they're doing there. I certainly appreciate that on the heels of what we heard from Attorney General Merrick Garland on yesterday with regards to what's going on. I can't say the city right now, but the problem
that was with DOJ. That was Louisville.
Louisville. But the problem is that there's 18,000 police departments, and we know that these problems exist. And I wish these police chiefs would start paying attention to community members when they come in with complaints about these rogue officers. So much deference is given to a police officer's version of events, and we know that given what we've seen in the case of Tyree Nichols and others, that sometimes these police officers will lie in pursuit of putting someone in jail. And so are we going to have to wait for Merrick Garland to have an investigative report one by one on these police departments, one consent decree after another loss of life, before we have real substantive national change? I hope not.
I mean, again, thank goodness for body cameras. Otherwise, you would have had somebody saying, yo, they stole our money. No, we didn't. There was no money there. So that's why I'm a fundamental believer every law enforcement agency should have body cameras. And again, if they're turned off or if they're simply thrown aside, you can't see what's happening, folks should be suspended and fired.
I agree, and certainly body cameras play a part in all of this, and I would probably assume that many of those officers in that group of 16 over there in Cleveland are not first-time offenders, and I understand that police officers have due process and certain rights, and we talk all the time about qualified immunity and how we need to get rid of it. That's not going to happen, but there are some practical things that police chiefs can do. It's not a right to work in patrol, and while you may not be able to fire an officer like Derek Chauvin with 20 plus personnel complaints, you can certainly tie him to a desk. You can get him out of the field. And once you do get these people out of the field, or if they decide to resign, as one of the officers did over there in Cleveland, an officer by the name of Holman, he resigned before they could get to him and fire him. And what did he do? He went right next door and got hired by El Raya Police Department. Now, they fired him on Wednesday when they found out he was being indicted. But if you decertify a police officer, you take away their license to be a cop. They can't run from one police department to another like so many have when they get in trouble on one agency. And so there are certainly things that police chiefs and administrators can do. And if I know it as a little old sergeant on the LAPD, I promise you they understand.
All right, sure, Dorsey. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.